meaningful dialogue around issues relating to how culture affects their organizational human resources. That's the Human Resources Cultural Intelligence Conference, which boasted an attendance of over 300 delegates in 2013. Now, to tell us more about the conference, we are joined by the organizer, Mohale Wa Morena, as well as one of the speakers, Cultural Intelligence Center President, Dr. David Livermore. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Sam. Thanks for having us.
What inspires, Mohale, a conference of this nature? I can only imagine that the subject matter must be so in-depth and well thought out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people who work in the corporate sector in this country and in different parts of the world would attest to the significance that your, IQ and your EQ have, and as far as their human resourcing processes are concerned. A lot of organizations use your IQ assessments and your EQ assessments as part of their human resource processes. Now, cultural intelligence, in sort of the same vein, speaks to either an individual or an organization's capacity to function effectively in varied cultural contexts. And so what we're trying to do, literally, because of the relevance that has on the South African professional and business landscape, for many reasons. I think one is because of the fact that we're a rainbow nation, and we are a home to great diversity as a country. We are, have so many cultures represented within our populace as a country. But then we also, as part of our labor force, have a lot of foreign nationals that we employ, and that make up a significant percentage of the labor force of South Africa, many of whom we produce from our institutions of higher learning, who then get automatically absorbed into the labor force of South Africa. So there's a relevance in that regard. There's a relevance for organizations who are seeking to extend their footprints beyond the borders of South Africa into different parts of Africa. We speak now of the BRICS community as well, so there's a relevance in that regard as well. We have legislation in this country which is, very strategic and very robust, that basically speaks to these issues of labor and of, the culture, really the cultural representation in as far as, our sort of foreign nationals who are part of our labor force, etc. So we're trying to get corporate decision makers, human resource executives, representation from government, perhaps some contribution from the labor sector as well, to really get into a room and have a conversation on how cultural intelligence, which Dr. David Livermore is going to speak more extensively about, affects business growth and human resources within organizations.
As you're talking, Mohale, I'm thinking about this movie called Lost in Translation. It's a big movie a couple of years ago. Dr. Livermore, let me bring you in here very quickly, because if we're talking about cultural intelligence, and a lot of people for the very first time this morning is going to hear this term. Let's talk about that effect and what that conversation would look like and what that conversation would be if you had to put it on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sam. I think it's well stated, and really the origins of our research on this topic of cultural intelligence is to try and move the conversation from just the shoulds, we should work together better, we should have diverse representation, to what are the business opportunities that come from it when we do well. So we've really been interested in, can you actually measure and predict whether or not an individual is going to be effective working across different cultures, across South Africa, across the globe, and then how does an organization create interventions to help with that?
When we have this kind of conversation, and it's so funny, Leanne is in Abu Dhabi at the moment, and she's looking at a South African-run hotel that operates in the Abu Dhabi space. Right. And one of the things that that I think his name is Pierre Delfau, who mentioned, was that we've been welcomed by the Abu Dhabi people. Right. Talk to me about, when we talk about cultural intelligence, are we talking about that nuts and bolts interaction?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm from the U.S. and I feel the hospitable warmth when I come to South Africa. And in one regard, you have to appreciate that you all are such a wonderful laboratory for the work that we do. But yeah, cultural intelligence, well, it's rooted in this rigorous academic research across 72 countries around the world, 50,000 professionals who've taken the assessment. It comes down to very bottom line, how do I engage in a way that's appropriate, effective, but still true to myself, that I'm not trying to become all things to all people. So it moves the conversation beyond tolerance to, now how do I actually engage with you, and then how does that translate? And understand. I may not end up agreeing with you. I may not try and adopt your cultural preferences, but at least, okay, that's a valid way of viewing the world.
Mohale, very quickly, 15 seconds. We need information, dates.
Okay, the date is the 10th of September at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosebank.
Oh.
Yeah, and
you can Google for the rest of the details.
Yeah, but they can tweet me at Wa Morena, at WAMORENA. And yeah, I will get in touch with them and provide the details.
This is a very interesting conversation. We should spend more time on this. Okay, that was, we've unfortunately run out of time. That was Cultural Intelligence Centre President Dr. David Livermore and Mohale Wa Morena speaking to us about the Human Resources Cultural Intelligence Conference, which takes place at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosebank on the 10th of September. Let us know what you think. It's Morning Live at SABC.co.za. We take a break.